Alright, happy Movember, y'all. How's everyone tonight? Just finished up a long day at work. Today we're using one of the first rather expensive shaving creams I've ever purchased. I've had it forever. It's the first really nice shaving scent that I ever bought. I started off with the Arctique stuff. It was pricey, no doubt, but all the scents were fairly basic and not complex at all whenever I first started, and they still weren't. Well, still not now. It's the original lineup. Of course, what I'm talking about is truefitt and Hill 1805. It's one of my favorite shaving scents. Although I will say now, looking back, it is not. Well, one of my favorite scents to wear. It's a artificial aquatic scent. Is a quite cloying, you know, row and stuff. Obviously it's super slick. Look at that. And then we're using a Omega S brush. This is a synthetic. It's got tons of backbone, whereas some of the original synthetic brushes were super floppy. I don't know if we can get that on there. The Omega S brush, super floppy and had no backbone. This does more of the mimics the boar brush, where it has tons of backbone, and it doesn't particularly fling lather everywhere, which is nice, because I have a Muhle brush, which I use here in an upcoming video. And it slings lather like no other brush I've ever owned. But I will say the 1805 scent is enjoyable, but for a short period of time, because it's very bright, uplifting. After a long day of work, this is really nice. But I do have the Cologne, and it does have some staying power. So, which to me now, it's kind of something I don't like about it, because I like to shave with it, enjoy the uplifting experience, and then kind of move on to a more adult. I guess that's not really fair. Move on to a more sophisticated fragrance, something that doesn't have nearly as much use of artificial scent in it, or at least it doesn't particularly smell as artificial. And one of the knocks against it for me is that it doesn't really have any scent memory, other than it was one of the first nice fragrances I ever purchased. Today we're using, this is essentially an R41. This is a R101. It was a black handle R101, and I replaced it. Well, the black epoxy or acrylic handle started rolling on me. So the what is now bloodwood that I turned on this handle was once black epoxy, and I guess the glue that was holding it together, holding it onto the brass, broke loose. And it started rolling on me when I was shaving, so that had to go. Luckily, I was able to fix that by taking the handle apart. It seemed to be kept on with like some blue Loctite type material. These little finial pieces right here, the end piece, and then the top piece that receives the screw from the top cap. Luckily that was easy to come off. And then I just put some bloodwood on there and turned it on my lathe. And it's I guess essentially a one-off now, but it's rather nice. And what was interesting about it is the inside of the little brass tube that the bloodwood now sits on had a brass weight in it. And it was, I guess, for balance. And it was seated about right here. So that was difficult to get back in there at that right part, at the right level for ergonomics. But this razor is a slick shaver and really enjoy it. It's definitely one of the most efficient razors I have. Did I already cut myself? Wow, impressive. Obviously, one of the most efficient razors I have. But this blade is starting to get a bit tuggy. It is the same Voshkod blade, so I think it's on its 4th shave now, which, since that's being said, it's probably about on its last leg. This is definitely the last shave I'm going to use it on. It does feel a bit tuggy, but definitely workable. I haven't used this razor in a while. So, the R41 got me. No. Alrighty. Hopefully no one out there is squeamish. And this is really delightful scent. Really, really, really enjoy it. Just not as a cologne, which we will be getting to here soon, because I do have it. I just don't put it on nearly as heavy as any of my other fragrances, really. All right. We're about 10 minutes in here. So yet again, no one's commented on the pass round box. I don't know if that means no one's really interested or not. But I'll throw it out there again if anyone else is interested in it, because I am interested to send some of my own soaps out. Like, not just ones that are out there, but some of the ones that I've made, and get some people's thoughts on it. The only caveat to that is that they'd have to send it to someone else and put something of theirs in the box to get passed around, but you also get the experience of someone else's stuff without having to possibly make the investment of putting in, you know, $20, $30 in a soap or some aftershave or maybe some cologne. You know, I'll get some small vials and put some of my colognes in there and just be excited to see what ends up making it back to me and see what other people think of everything. We'll get some more details on it if anyone's interested. It doesn't matter if it's one person, you know. I plan on making this a regular thing. Probably not every other day. It has been kind of difficult. I do have some late uploads on my work days. But, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed shaving. Let's see. Anything. It's where my beard's the thickest. It does take forever and I never really get it 100% there because I just can't go against the grain. It would be a nightmare for me for the next few days. So that is close, and that blade's about met its end. Let's break out the Allen one. I totally missed that bit. And see what kind of feedback we get before we go into our aftershave, which will definitely get it using Barrister and Mann Arctique, which is their hypermentholated. It doesn't, not getting any feedback. Yeah, right there. That's a bit of a sting, but everywhere else is not bad. So, only bit that had a bit of a sting is right there. Everywhere else is pretty good. Like that. So, S-brush did great for a fairly inexpensive synthetic brush with actual backbone. It perform beautifully, didn't sling lather all over the place. That was one of my least favorite things about my Muhle synthetic, is that you would just sit there and it would just be everywhere. Couldn't stand it. That's why it was hardly ever used. Which is a shame, because it has an awesome, you could change the knots out and everything. So, it's Arctique, hypermentholated. I think it has like black peppercorn in it and something else. But this stuff. Whew, peppermint. Definitely some peppermint in it. That's obvious. So that's that. And now, 1805. There we go. Generally, I never ever rub the scent together, and I always put one in here and here. It's just so strong. There's no need. So that was quite an enjoyable shave. Yeah, that seemed to calm down a bit. Let's get this. Oh, hope you can read it. 444. This is a mentholated aftershave gel balm. It'd be a stretch to call it a balm. It's a gel essentially. Put it on. Whoop. Sparingly across, and that's that. Should help everything out. Well, hope you all enjoyed the shave. If anyone is interested in pass around box, or if anyone wants to see me use anything in particular, whether you've seen it already or not, if you would like to suggest a shaving soap or aftershave or cologne that maybe reminds you of something from your childhood past, something that just reminds you maybe your first apartment, who cares? As long as it's something that reminds you of something and brings back memories, I'm more than happy to give it a check out, and you'll have a lovely night. See you.